was only a matter of time. Oh, he did! Barcelona are back on top of European football.
So close. Arsenal were just 15 minutes away from becoming champions of Europe. Now, it's back to square one. For the very first time, the Gunners have to pre-qualify for the group stages of the UEFA Champions League. And believe me, they've got their hands full tonight in Zagreb against Dinamo, the champions of Croatia. Hello there, good evening to you all. It's just 30 days since the World Cup final, and here we go again with live European action on ITV1. An Arsenal legend with us tonight, Martin Keown. Hiya, Martin. Now, bad timing this for the Gunners?
Yeah, not ideal. But, you know, Arsenal always prepares his teams very well. And tonight I expect them to be in good shape.
Big story pre-match is Jose Antonio Reyes, pictured in one and two of your papers today wearing a Real Madrid shirt. An old picture, that one, by the way. All sorts of transfer speculation linking him with a move back to his native Spain. He does not start tonight. Rosicky from the Czech Republic, the only summer signing. He's included in that Arsenal lineup. And Hoyt plays at left back for the Arsenal. Giroud in central defence for Dinamo. Watch out for Novotny, experienced German at the back. Modric in the midfield. He's on a 10-year deal there. They rate him highly. And Eduardo, Brazilian-born, and now a Croatian national. Gets a lot of goals up front. What do you read into that then? Rosicky playing and Jose Antonio left out.
Well, Rosicky's the biggest signing, obviously the major signing this summer. He looks an all-purpose player, typical Wenger signing. And he would purely pick his best team on the night. I wouldn't have thought the Reyes situation really had much to do with it. So let's wish him well.
Yeah.
There's a big future ahead of him.
But Arsenal have a real job on their hands out there tonight. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be tough. It's going to be a difficult atmosphere. And hopefully we're in good enough shape to win it.
I like the way you say "we" there, by the way, man. Old habits die hard, don't they? Well done. Dinamo Zagreb, then. The Blues, the most successful club in Croatia. They walked away with the title. They got a warm welcome for Arsenal tonight.
Foster's super chilled. Well, you wouldn't want a warm beer.
Yeah, so power gen are cheaper than... Actually, it's bad karma to say it out loud.
Cheaper than British bus?
Positive energy from power gen.
It's a genuine test for a new-look Arsenal. The old Maximir Stadium in Zagreb is a very hostile sellout. Your commentators tonight, David Pleat. And first of all, a very good evening to Peter Drury.
Jim, good evening, thank you. And welcome to Zagreb, where the sun has just set on a pleasantly warm summer's day, which gives way here to a night that promises to be truly hot for Arsenal. I wonder, are they ready for it? There is a ferociously partisan atmosphere inside this sold-out, outmoded old ground. And it is a very young Arsenal side. It is going to be a really examining start to Arsenal's new season. It is a stadium which is no stranger to a flare or two, no stranger to a flare-up. Its regular customers are a bullish bunch in blue whose one-eyed loyalty by reputation knows few bounds. Its visitors tonight, Arsenal, the Champions League finalists of 2006. And they are entitled to feel a very long way from home. Indeed, this venue is, in every sense, a very long way from the gleaming North London structure that is Arsenal's new home. Referee tonight is Greek. He is Kyros Vassouras. He would have gone to the World Cup, but for a fitness failure by one of his assistants which let him down. So the question, are Arsenal ready? Ready for a major season-shaping assignment which has hurried round with unseemly haste. 12 weeks less a day since they were quarter of an hour away from being champions, a month less a day since the World Cup final. A lot of big hitters missing. Adebayor here making his European debut for the club. David Pleat, are they ready? And are they unfortunate to have bumped here into a team under Kouget here, which represents probably the toughest draw that they might have got?
Yes, certainly a tough draw. Evening all. I believe, although Paris seems only yesterday and 8 of Arsenal's starters were involved in the World Cup, I don't think it's too early. Provided their attitude and approach is positive tonight, they should really relish the challenge, but this partisan atmosphere will really create a big challenge.
And this is the prize, or the punishment, depending on your perspective, for finishing fourth in the Premier League. Arsenal have never had to go through this horrid early season trap before under Arsene Wenger, who seeks to take them into the Champions League proper for the 9th time in succession. The air, incidentally, has been thick with rumour and counter-rumour here since news broke of his non-selection of Jose Antonio Reyes. No comment from the manager yet. I can only tell you that I got a brief word with the vice-chairman, David Dean, who is Arsenal's chief mover and shaker. Asked him whether I could read anything officially into Reyes being left on the bench. He said there is nothing to read. But it is hard not to conjecture. Manuel Almunia starts in goal for Arsenal tonight, as he finished in Paris. It is in fact the second season in succession that Jens Lehmann has begun the European campaign with a suspension. Almunia, of course, excelled in the final. One brilliant save in particular, I remember, from Eto'o. He was ultimately beaten by those 2 late goals. Adebayor above Svitanovic. And looking to play in Van Persie. It's Turina away from the Zagreb penalty area, and Kleb with the throw.
Van Persie started up front with Adebayor, Brzezinski just playing loose on the left-hand side.
Kolo Touré, one of the 8 in the Arsenal team who was involved in the World Cup. Giroud was another who came through for Switzerland over the course of the tournament as a result of injury, principally to his club mate Philippe Senderos. Lifted long towards Adebayor, dealt with by Jens Novotny, the centre-half from Germany, who was the close season signing of the Croatian domestic game after a decade with Bayer Leverkusen. He was one of Jürgen Klinsmann's magic 23 in Germany over the summer. He only got to play, though, in the third place playoff. Kleb, Van Persie, Kleb. Gilberto skippers Arsenal tonight. This is Justin Hoyt returning to the Arsenal team after a season away with Sunderland.
Nice to see Arsenal back in their traditional red and white. New kit for the new Emirates Stadium.
And their first corner of the competitive season is earned for them by their newest star, Thomas Rosicky, of whom Arsene Wenger said unreservedly yesterday, quite plainly, he will begin the game on the bench. He has begun the game in the first 11, Reyes hasn't. And Persie a natural target for the corner. Up in the air comfortably by Charlet, and gathered in by Ivan Turina. One of only a couple of survivors of the last clash between Zagreb and an English team. They played Fulham in the UEFA Cup 4 years ago. Van Persie. Away from Novotny, but not from Saleh, the left full back. And the flag was raised anyway.
I'm quite sure if Van Persie can isolate Novotny, he should have the legs on him. A more youthful, speedier player from Holland.
Been the number 1 goalkeeper here since Tomislav Butina went to Bruges 3 years ago. Butina on the Croatian bench during the World Cup. And Pleticosa, so Gilberto. Touré. Hoyt. Rosicky. He's played only half an hour of pre-season, the Czech, on Arsenal's regular July-August tour to Austria. I hope you're getting some sort of idea of the volume inside the ground here. It is a wall of blue in front of us. 34,000 all wearing the club strip, rising and sitting in unison and making an almighty racket. It is not an easy place for Arsenal to come. Fabregas. Adebayor. Eboué. Fabregas. Van Persie. Fabregas. He's gone over.
It's very clever play by Fabregas to get the return, just shaping for a shot when it gets pulled.
Where was the contact? Was there contact?
And if there was, could well have been in the box, Peter.
Only 200 or so have come from London to see the game. Arsenal's most dedicated. They were offered 2,000 tickets. They are offered a ray of hope here with Van Persie over the set piece and Kolo Touré. The Dutchman the likelier striker. Robin Van Persie blazed it rather. He did hit a bluter of a free kick in the World Cup, I remember, for the Dutch against the Ivory Coast in Stuttgart. That one failed to find the target.
Might have been a little bit harsh on the home side there, Mr. Vassaras, the Greek referee, giving that. There's Arsene Wenger, who wasn't very happy when he looked at the pitch last night, and I think he was rather surprised this evening that many of the bare patches had been covered up.
Vugrenets, very nice user of the ball, scored an excellent goal in the second leg of the last round, and now Eto'o with a pullback from Modric. They are smart, slick passers, this Zagreb side. Intelligent users of the ball, darters and dashers, and Modric, who is a part of the new Croatian team growing up, is a key to them.
As they feel that Eto'o has the pace, the Brazilian player, to get behind the Arsenal left flank, and it was an intelligent pass to Modric, who hit it well.
He's not 21 till next month, Luka Modric, but he came in to the national side in Croatia at the beginning of the calendar year and came off the bench a couple of times in Germany to very good effect. There has been a change of national manager in Croatia since the World Cup, as there has in many of the countries involved. And Slaven Bilic has taken over now, the former Everton and West Ham centre-half, and Modric is part of his plans for sure. Adebayor.
Started off well, Adebayor, showing for the ball well.
Fought by Rosicki, came wide for Hoyt. Gilberto. Eboué, seen by Charlie. Ahead of whom is Eduardo. Excellent tackle by Eboué. Now comes Hleb. Van Persie. Rosicki. Adebayor. Gilberto. Hoyt. Rosicki. A contrast for Justin Hoyt to come out of a relegated club in the Premier League and into the early stages of the Champions League just this summer as a buffer. Fabregas. Adebayor, Fabregas. Van Persie onside. Van Persie's cross. And out by Eto'o.
Very clever play by Van Persie, the ability to use both feet. But Quite impressed with the way Adebayor is linking. He's the main front man, showing every time Fabregas gets the ball in midfield and making the ball back into his midfield with great economy. He's doing very well, Adebayor, a good start.
Modric. Vukrinets. Out by Toure. Charlie. Eduardo. Presented to Gilberto. Adebayor. Fabregas, who has inherited finally the Vieira number 4 shirt this year, by rights. Aboué. Clem. Gilberto, the only player over 25 years old in a very young Arsenal team tonight. Rosicki, of course, has plenty of experience in this competition, has sparkled in it for Borussia Dortmund and before that for Sparta Prague. I remember way back now, 6 or 7 years back, a terrific goal he scored for Sparta Prague at Highbury in a losing cause that night. And he's had a long time alongside Big Jan Koller in Germany and indeed, of course, for his country.
Not a prolific scorer in the German league last year, but of course he showed his quality in the World Cup at shooting. A bit over-ambitious with that shot there.
Well, they are. They're called the Bad Blue Boys. Some of them are badder than others. I've had some fairly notorious nights in this ground. Some great atmosphere nights as well. Modric with the cross. Leb with a beautifully dropped shoulder and a clever spin, and a dart to halfway and a ball for Fabregas, who has Rosicki wide of him, Van Persie through the middle, Adebayor ahead as well. Van Persie got a shot in the back, and Arsenal got a very cheap free kick.
Van Persie was a little bit surprised there.
And Sorluka is in the book. It was Charlie for that foul on Kleb. It was the shove in the back of Van Persie, which was something and nothing, truth be told. And Toure is preparing to conspire over the free kick again with Van Persie.
Well, Van Persie probably will want another opportunity. I'm sure if Mr. Henry was on the field, he would be the one assigned to this kick.
Fabregas adjacent to the ball, Toure ready to run at it, and Van Persie. It's Kolo Toure. Beat out the bottom brick in the wall, and it earned Arsenal only a corner kick.
Well, if he could have touched it wide again, Modric came and closed the ball. If could have just touched it wide again, they could have had a free shot there. As it was, they've got the deflection, and Rosicki goes to take this corner.
For which Arsenal have thrown plenty of height forward with Giroud and Kleb. Adebayor is a vast gangling centre forward. Rosicki plays it in. Fabregas stationed edge of the penalty area. Held up by Modric. Hoyt. Kleb. That's kindly for Giroud.
Good start by Arsenal, dominating possession, taking the strain of the game away from the home team. The home team need to start at a real tempo, and it's Arsenal that are monopolising the ball.
It's an Arsenal side without Thierry Henry, without Gael Clichy, Freddie Ljungberg, Philip Senderos, as well as Diaby, Lauren. It was an excellent recovery tackle by Kolo Toure to deny Eduardo, who's on the ball now from the throw. There's nowhere to go. And of course, no Ashley Cole, who is still an Arsenal player. Rare's on the bench. There's a lot missing. They've also lost Sol Campbell over the summer. They've lost Robert Pires since the end of last season. It's all change. They're moving house, and they're moving house with a few new personnel. they're starting the next chapter of their famous existence, Arsenal. And a lot of their big hitters out of action. Those they've fielded tonight have begun encouragingly here. Fed. Fabulous. One person. Toure. Eboué. Hoyt. Rosicki. Rolled in for Adebayor, taken down by Van Persie, good turn. And good strength as well from Sorluka.
Almost a chance there, Van Persie, but good concentration by Sorluka, the defender, playing on the right-hand side. Novotny in the centre, Svitanovic on the left-hand side, and Charlie at left-back. Easy to spot Charlie, he has the yellow boots.
Fled. Adebayor. Van Persie, Rosicki wide of it. This is the debutant Czech. Van Persie. Hleb. Hoyt has gone beyond him, but Hleb's pass wasn't kind to the young full-back. Sorluka playing at right full-back for Dinamo tonight. He played at centre-half in the second leg of Dinamo's 9-3 aggregate win in the second round of qualifying against the champions of Lithuania. Adebayor. Van Persie. The goalkeeper was sprawling across. A bright start to the Dutchman. Scored from the penalty spot at Alkmaar on Friday night, where Arsenal had their dress rehearsal for this tie.
Terrific pace there shown by Kolo Toure. Has become part of the scenery at Arsenal. I almost said at Highbury, but of course it's going to be at the Emirates Stadium. But he has such pace, he's grown up so quickly, the experience with the Ivory Coast in the African nations, in the World Cup. Regular pick for Arsenal now, and will surely be over the first few weeks of the season with the absence of the injured Sander Ross and with Sol Campbell seeking fresh pastures.
Adebayor. Driven against Novotny. Came down for Fabregas, and then in by Eboué wickedly. No one was able to apply the touch.
Eboué can get forward. Very fast to break. Superb counter-attacker.
Of course, he showed that in the final in Paris. It was he dashing forward who went over Carles Puyol to earn the free kick, with which Thierry Henry found Sol Campbell's forehead, and Arsenal went ahead with 10 men.
Zagreb playing cautiously, only Eduardo, the Brazilian, up the front.
Buliat. Modric. Mamic. Vukrinac. Eduardo. Modric, the club captain. Modric, the coming star. Buliat! Ready behind it.
Safe and sound for Almunia, but that was a little bit more positive by the home team. They're playing with a holding midfield player, Mamic. Modric on the left, Buliat on the right. Modric, if he can get possession, I think can show some quality with his passing. That's the little man, he's on the ball now. Sets the Brazilian off on the right-hand side.
It's Eto'o, running at Hoyt. They're driving it against Justin Hoyt. We've got to climb down to the ball. The Greek official hasn't made any friends on the far side there by awarding a goal kick. Eto'o certainly isn't thanking him.
Was Toure on the cover. Kleb's gone a little bit in field from his starting position at the beginning of the game when he was quite wide on the touchline. Now he's gone inside, and when he does that, Eboué has to take up the space that he leaves and gets forward.
Charlie. Modric. Mamic. Vugrinets. Vugrinets with the drive, well handled by Manuel Almunia. Nearly half of whose first team appearances last year for Arsenal were in the Champions League.
Quite strong in the goalkeeping department with Mark Poom on the subs bench tonight. And of course Jens Lehmann yet to come into the reckoning after his wonderful World Cup.
He wouldn't have played tonight even if he weren't suspended, incidentally, Jens Lehmann. Here is Kleb. Van Persie. Arsene Wenger has very strict guidelines about the readiness of his players when they've been away over the summer. He gives them a proper period of recovery. Here is Kleb. And strictly speaking, whatever else the agenda may show, that is why Ashley Cole isn't here tonight. So Luca was stopped in his tracks, in the view of the referee, quite legally.
Well, Sir Luca burst out of defence with that ball, but I don't know if he knew where he was going. He had little support. He'd be wise to get back in his covering position as quickly as possible.
Fabregas. Rosicki. Good sharp turn, good sharp shot. Goalkeeper's behind it. That's what he's got, Rosicki. That and plenty more.
Yes, and cutting in, of course, from the left on his right foot gives him more attacking chances to get shots in at goal. He's unlikely to get on the outside, but he certainly can come across the right backs inside and get the shots at goal, or play off Adebayor and get return passes and get nearer the goal to have those shots.
Well, a quarter of the first leg has flown by. Arsenal have had more of the football than their hosts. Their aim tonight is to ensure that they're in a good position to win the tie at the Emirates Stadium 2 weeks tomorrow night, when they ought to be in much better shape in terms of available resources. Henry will be back, Lehmann will be available, Ljungberg might be back. Van Persie knocked over by Sorluka, who is the player, remember, on a yellow card. He needs to be a shade careful.
He was completely deceived there by Van Persie's dummy. Looks as though he may be a weakness, the tall right back.
Surprised in a way he's playing at right full back. He played at centre half in the last European game. Bulyat, who's playing in midfield, played at right back, and Matej Bajsor was really excellent in that position. He's been called up by Bilic for his first squad as well. Sorluka has yielded this free kick, over which is Robin van Persie. With both centre-halves waiting, shoulder to shoulder with Adebayor. Van Persie's delivery, Touré backstick. Adebayor rising. And Kleiman.
Warmly received ruling by the crowd. Greek referee.
Touré's clearance into Vugrinets, who was dispossessed by Gilberto, rolled out by Fabregas. Here is Rosicki. With Hoyt chugging up from left full back one way, and Eboué from right full back this way. Adebayor out wide, Van Persie ahead of him. Here is Adebayor, and there was Van Persie. Kept at bay by Charlie. Here is Kleb. Eboué. Fabregas. Eboué. Good ball retention by Arsenal, with 10 blue shirts behind the ball. Kleb. Fabregas. Rosicki. Kleb. A really smart run off the shoulder of the defender. Couldn't take the ball with him. Vugrinets away.
They have to keep the ball when they get it, particularly as Arsenal are running the game at the moment.
Rosicki, Kleb. To Charlie across.
Tended to kick it long on one or two occasions, the blue-shirted defenders. They just need to keep the ball when they get it and make Arsenal do the work.
There's Eto'o, who is quick. Modric, who is intelligent. Eto'o. Modric, Pouliot. Modric has got goal side!
Clever 1-2. Once again, getting down the Arsenal left rather cleverly. Patience, and then a nicely paced pass and a good return ball. There wasn't the support in the box for a ball to be laid back, and so Modric had to take a chance, and he just missed his footing slightly, but he's already showing the positive signs that Slaven Bilic will have to use for the national team.
Adebayor. Looking to pounce as Svitanovic wondered. And, Arsenal already learning, as if they didn't already know, that this is not a gimme. Just a note, incidentally, as Dinamo look to make a very early change, just a note that we're hitting the ground running with our European football coverage on ITV this week. Same time, same channel tomorrow night, we are at Anfield for Liverpool against Maccabi Haifa. And there is the early change, with Vugrinets having to come off, and that is a genuine blow to Dinamo. He is one of their pivotal players, replaced as he is by Yasmin Agic, who is a 31-year-old international, hasn't been capped for a while, but does have 14 caps for Croatia, principally a defensive midfield player. So just rejoined the club after 18 months in the Far East with Incheon United.
Agic has gone on to the left-hand side. Quite a tall team as Zagreb. Don't know whether they can exploit the set pieces or if they have a good enough deliverer to expose Arsenal. But they are a tall team. There's only Modric that looks short on inches.
Agic. Taken away from him by Kleb. Rolled on for Adebayor. Emmanuel Adebayor!
I think he started splendidly. He's shown for the ball, he hasn't given the ball away. He's made breaks into the channels, and there he was, hitting the best effort for Arsenal so far. Beautifully struck ball.
Plays 17 games in the Champions League for Monaco. Emmanuel Adebayor only scored once in that time. This is his first European game for Arsenal because he played at this stage of the competition last year for Monaco against Real Betis and lost, which meant that when he came to London after Christmas, he had to sit and watch through all of those glory nights, Real Madrid and Juventus. Eduardo shielding the ball well, and then looking to dart through a gap, and he's fed it here to Agic. And what an important touch that was from Emmanuel Eboué going across. Eboué is heard in having made the tackle.
I think it was an important touch, all right, but it was a painful touch. Just managing to nick that ball away from Agic. After very clever play by the Brazilian centre-forward Eduardo. He's not trying to take people on. There we see him just getting a toe in first and hurdling over the substitute. Eduardo's dangerous up front. He can take people on and he likes a dribble. Came here evidently as a 19-year-old boy from Brazil, found it very difficult to settle. Went home, but they kept an eye on him and brought him back, and I think he's now something like 23.
He is now a naturalised Croatian. He has 5 caps. I'm told there was some national dismay when he wasn't picked to go to Germany. To Slaven Bilic, and there he is. He's putting that right. Sitting incidentally behind Boro Primorac, the new Croatian coach. Boro Primorac in front of him, Arsene Wenger's coach, who is a Croat himself and a former player of Hajduk Split, who are Dinamo Zagreb's great rivals, so he's doubly keen that Arsenal should do well. Boro was telling me yesterday he played in a UEFA Cup tie for Hajduk Split against Arsenal at the end of the 1970s. Here's Eto'o. Bulja. Eto'o.
This will be the first real opportunity to hit a good ball in from the right-hand side. We'll probably see the in-swinger. All the big guns coming up. Novotny stays back.
Half an hour gone in Zagreb. Real threat to Arsenal here with Bulja over the free kick. Eduardo having come away from the piece. Toure doing the organising. Saw Luca near the edge of the 6-yard box. Toure up in the air. And Arsenal off the hook for the time being. Cvitanovic. Agic. Saw Luca. There to go.
We call him the wandering right back. Seems to crop up all over the field. The pitch, incidentally, looks much better than it appears when you walk on it. It's looks like lovely grass, but I can assure you there's quite a lot of clover amongst that grass, and but the ball's running quite well. Arsene Wenger will be reasonably happy with that. I think he showed some nervousness last night when he walked on it. There was a game here last Friday in heavy rain, and the pitch was rather cut up.
Away by Juru. So Luca beneath it. Modric. Towards Buliat. Juru bravely threw his head in. And Hoyt's cleared. Down again by Sorluka. Modric. How many leaves on that clover, David?
Well, I suppose Arsenal will hope that there's a lucky four-leaf clover down there somewhere tonight, but it's important they get back to the Emirates Stadium well in touch with this game, and at the moment they're in command.
Gilberto. Kleb. Eboué. Fabregas. For Adebayor, out by Cvitanovic.
That's the casual ball out of defence that I was referring to earlier on. When they get possession at the back, they must try and keep the ball.
Adebayor. Kleb. Adebayor.
He's bright tonight.
Likened frequently to the former Arsenal favourite Kanu. Back by Juru. Compare and contrast, David. Kanu and Adebayor. Where are the likenesses and the differences?
Well, a very simple one. I think Kanu is probably slightly taller. They're both big boys. This one's got more pace, and that's important.
Van Persie. Kleb. Rolled in behind Charlie, but not behind Cvitanovic, the experienced international centre-half. He was the survivor of Manchester United's visit here some 7 years ago. Manchester United began their defence of the Champions League in the autumn of 1999 against the club that is this club, but was then called Croatia Zagreb. Ozzy Ardiles was the manager at the time. They had a rather uninspiring goalless draw at Old Trafford at the start of that defence, but they won here. David Beckham hit a wonderful free kick, and Roy Keane smashed in a volley from 25 yards.
Great chance for Mamic to put Charlie away on that left-hand side. Failed with his technique. Had to hit the ball too cleverly with the outside of his boot. Should watch this man, Gilberto Silva. Never does anything too clever. Keeps it simple. Always prodding and pushing the ball about. Never gets caught in possession, or very rarely.
He stumbled on the ball and handle. Free kick was given. Zagreb quickly on with it. Here is Modric, with Eto'o going outside of him, and then looking to come inside of the full-back. Giroud saw him coming. Roberto was fouled by his fellow countryman.
Very solid start by Giroud and Touré at the back. Eto, who's got good pace, I think is sitting too deep for Zagreb. He's almost sitting at times on top of his right back. There he is receiving the ball now. He needs to go and use that pace to better advantage further up the field.
Modric. Modric. Against Rosicki and firing the ball against Thomas Rosicki and earning Dinamo Zagreb a corner.
I like Modric because he's prepared to take players on. He's also shown that he can pass the ball tidily, has energy, and is possibly the biggest threat to Arsenal at this moment.
It's Buliat's corner. Safe hands. Those are the faithful few. Kleb dispossessed by Agic, taken back by Adebayor, rolled forward by Rosicki. Kleb wants to be there first. Torina is.
A superb goalkeeping. Off his line like a rocket.
Sums up the mood that they sometimes like to engender inside this ground. The blue bulldog. There is a one-eyed loyalty to this club which matches any partisanship anywhere. Here's Van Persie looking to get inside of Sorluka. Having counted as he did.
Wasn't shielding the ball within playing distance. That's the law. He probably was.
Fabregas, Kleb. Caught by Agic. Roberto. He strolled out with it. Buliat. Eto. Buliat. Charlie. Modric! It's a very decent try. He's a very decent player, made an excellent international debut against Argentina back in the spring in Switzerland.
Important closing down there by Giroud. Made it just that little bit more difficult for the little guy to shoot.
Rumours linking Luka Modric with some big teams in the Bundesliga. And here he is looking to get away from Giroud, who did his work well again.
He'll have gained confidence from that wonderful swift Swiss defensive work in the World Cup.
So they went out without conceding a goal, didn't they? They couldn't take a penalty. Then there are other nations who could say that. Kleb. Drifted in for Van Persie. Rolled back for Rosicki. Van Persie's cross. Charlie's header out. Eduardo bullied off it by Gilberto. Agic couldn't get forward. Adebayor took it back. It's a good, compact, efficient Arsenal performance this so far. Fabregas. Adebayor. Young team showing up really well in Arsenal red. Buliat away. Adebayor. Fabregas, who grew up through last season's Champions League campaign. Turned from promising boy to outstanding man. Gilberto. Kleb. Good turn. Van Persie didn't really get it.
Almost tried one of those clever benders that we've seen him score so many times. with a curl of that left foot. Arsenal keeping their two men forward. Van Persie, Adebayor. There's Novotny. He's had a few problems in this first half with Adebayor just coming away from him and setting things up for Arsenal. But Zagreb, as we approach half-time, will be very satisfied. They're desperate to go to London well in the game.
There's every indication that they will certainly still be well in the game. So Modric plays it for Charlie. And Eduardo arrived half a second late, and they have to retake their seats.
If Bulliat could have got in the box there and supported Eduardo a little bit better, they may have had a chance of a goal. There was a good break by Charlie, beautifully weighted ball by Modric inside the fullback.
Rosicki. Henley. Long with Eduardo, who's offside.
Big favourite of the fans here. He's excited them with his fast forward play.
20 goals in 29 games last season. Boué, Claire, Adebayor, Boué. Roberto. Wait. Rosicki. Novotny.
Zagreb almost playing with a back five at times. Eto's dropped very deep on the right-hand side. And Soluka, Novotny and Svitanovic are playing almost as three centre-backs.
And Percy ran into the club captain Mamic. Kouge there. He's 53 years old. He's in his second spell in charge of this club. He and Arsene Wenger actually know each other a little bit. They were coaches at the same time in the J-League in Japan. Gamba Osaka was Kouge's club, and Arsene Wenger was at Nagoya Grampus 8. And Arsene was pleased to tell me that he won whenever they met.
And he also told you there was always going to be a winner because drawn games didn't count. They played to the win.
Modric. Away from Eboué, in for Eduardo. And scraped out by Emmanuel Eboué. And then Fabregas was immensely calm on the edge of his own penalty area. And just about got away with it, despite the tightness of Modric. Eduardo.
Just a little bit more determination as the games progress by Zagreb. But Arsenal feel quite comfortable. They've been very composed. Just that early chance when Eto'o passed the ball back and Modric shot past the post, and then the other effort of Modric on the edge of the box a few minutes ago. But generally speaking, Arsenal have passed the ball well, they've kept possession well. Just need a little bit more thrust, but they'll be more than comfortable going into half-time if they get there with this scoreline.
Clear. Adebayor. Neatly away from Charlie and from Agic, and Adebayor has hung up a cross. Saw Luca with a brave header away. Fleb. Necessary one. Eboué. Fleb. Fabregas. Next came Novotny, and Adebayor had a meeting of considerable frames.
Very sporting early season handshake there. Novotny racing into Adebayor. Adebayor didn't stay down, no dramatics, gets up, shakes the German's hand. FIFA will be pleased.
As Novotny had to settle for a place on the German bench for most of his home World Cup behind those two young shavers, Metzelder and Mertesacker. They began the tournament as everybody's worry in Germany and began it as everybody's heroes. Here is Eto. Modric. Package dispossessed, half-time whistle. Nobody ever said that this was going to be easy for Arsenal, nor has it been, but it has been broadly encouraging. A young side Arsene Wenger has had to field, and they have done themselves proud up to now. He'll have encouraging words for them, and we will hear the words of Martin Keown with Jim Rosenthal in just a moment from now. It's 0-0 in Zagreb.
This summer, pirates rule the sea, but snakes rule the sky. Snakes on a plane. Travel. Now, clouds know how to travel in perfect ease. Bit like us. Sometimes, if they know exactly where they want to be, they're off. Or they can narrow down their choices from a whole world of options. Or if they're looking for some inspiration, it's easy. Why not make your traveling easier? Expedia.co.uk.
Let yourself go.
This week's Zoo is the brilliant 100 Sexiest Bodies issue, so it's only right to show you Keely lingerie shopping again.
Especially as we've spent the 10 grand budget on a robot.
Here's Keely.
Yeah, nice.
Why can't all good things come without downsides? Like football? Oh, without the amateur dramatics. Great Coke taste, zero sugar.
Whatever targets you set yourself, however ambitious your plans are, whatever you care about most, however high your goals are, however you choose to show your talents, we'll make sure you start with all the right elements.
For courses that turn into careers, it all starts with the University of Huddersfield.
To find out more, visit startwithhuddersfield.com or call 0870 111 889.
Hey yo 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 yo, I need an empire to.
Everyone has their own way of doing things. Some people are highly driven and need loads of extras to help them manage their busy lives. For these people, we've created Panther, a top-range talk package featuring unlimited texts and off-peak mobile internet access. Orange, the future's bright.
If you hurry, you can get 0% finance over 4 years on nearly every model in the Renault range. As we said, nearly every model in the Renault range.
And at More Than, you also get a 10% discount on your car insurance when you call. Phone 0800 300 800 or visit us online.
Treat.
Does your treatment of athlete's foot feel never-ending? Try new revolutionary Lamasil Once. With just one application, the Lamasil Once lasting film keeps working in the skin. So once and you're done. So you can feel in touch again. Lamasil Once. Something this revolutionary happens only once.
Welcome to
to the new Mushroom Kingdom in New Super Mario Bros. Out now, only on Nintendo DS.
Pretty satisfying goalless first half for the Gunners over there in Zagreb. Delighted to see them back in those red shirts, by the way. Martin, what will the players be feeling at half-time there, do you believe?
I think they'll be quite satisfied. They look very comfortable and compact at the start of the game, and they've moved the ball well. And I think that the emphasis will be to continue to do that, move the ball efficiently, perhaps a little bit more incisive in the final third. And all in all, I think it's a good start for Arsenal.
Without Thierry Henry up front, obviously a huge loss, that one, but the two boys up there, Adebayor and Van Persie, have been playing well and playing in tandem together.
Yeah, that's right. That's a real plus for Arsenal, because they went with one up front for the latter part of the Champions League. And here, both players look really up for it tonight. Plenty of movement on the ball, but perhaps Adebayor could get in there behind at the far post. And there's another situation where Rosick's coming in off the line where he's most effective, and Van Persie looking lively.
They're giving him a handful, aren't they, those two? They would seem to have come back from the World Cup with a fair bit of confidence. They both had good World Cups.
That's right. They both can play. They've got real ability. It's just bringing that out, and tonight's a good sign that
this is probably the best chance, Martin. Adebayor.
Yeah, he's come off there. He's come off the feet well, turned, and he's just put it wide. So he's showing the confidence to shoot from there, which is encouraging.
A lot of interest in little Rosický playing tonight, making his competitive debut for Arsenal. He showed us what he could do in the World Cup, didn't he? Another real find from Arsene Wenger. He can pop them in from distance. He did this for the Czech Republic and against the USA. Splendid goal, this one.
That's right. He seems very comfortable in that little pocket between midfield and defence, and here he is in that area. Bang. That's some strike. and that was looking like one hell of a signing when he put that in.
And he still looks a good signing, and it almost as though he fancied a bit of an action replay there tonight with that sort of goal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's an all-action player. Here he is in this area once more. Perhaps he can get an extra pass in there to make it easier for him. But he's finding his way. It's early days for him, and it's a good start.
Where are the danger signals for Arsenal in that first half? Do you believe they seem Dinamo to have targeted Justin Hoyt a bit down that?
Well, they went down.
side.
They went down that flank a couple of times and put crosses in, and here we are. Bit of space for the guy to run into, and he's just ran off the back of him, and they've got back in. The boys in the box have picked up, and they've dealt with it.
That's Modric, who's we told you to watch out for him before the game.
Yeah,
a very clever player in midfield.
Justin recovers well there, gets a good foot in, but it's something they need to be aware of. There's good movement on the right hand side.
Arsenal tend to get a goal away in Europe. Will they settle for this, or will they really go for the jugular in the second half? What do you think?
No, I think that they will like to push on and try and grab a goal if they can. So Arsene Wenger's teams always play in an attacking manner, and I'm sure that perhaps the fullbacks might get forward a little bit more in this half, just to give a little bit more width. I think that can be exploited. They're not particularly quick at the back, so I think you'll see maybe a little bit more attacking from Arsenal.
And a bit of a tricky one for you. Will we see Jose Antonio Reyes, do you think, in the second half?
Well, I'm sure. At some point, if he's available to play, he will give them that extra width. Both the wide players that are currently coming inside. So that's there if the manager wants to use it. Yeah,
I would think Real Madrid, looking at this, will say we don't want him to play because if he plays for Arsenal, he can't play for Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Well, that's to it. But I wouldn't have thought if he's come this far now, he's going to be an Arsenal player.
Good. Okay. So no goals then at half-time for the Gunners, but they have come mighty close in the first half. The second half coming up for you live from Zagreb in just a couple of minutes.
I've got 7.
I've got 4.
I've got 5. I've got 10.
I've got 5.
I've got 8.
8. 9. I've got 11.
Got 4 or more years no claims? eSure will only take on drivers like you, so you don't pay for other people's mistakes. Call 0800 030 4444 or visit esure.com.
No, I've got 8.
Calls every Saturday, Sunday and Monday for life. O2 long weekends. Now that's something to smile about. Exclusive to O2 shops. It's your O2. See what you can do.
You're bad. No rubbish rugs, no nonsense. John Smith's.
I got a lot of hoth to share with the world. Luckily, with Pipex Broadband, I can keep this online empire buzzing at a very sexy price. That's up to 8 meg broadband for just $6.50 when purchased with a $12.50 call package. So, call us now on 0808 141 8000. We're waiting.
Pipex.
Sony Ericsson CyberShot phone. Never miss a shot.
Shane's gone.
I think it's changed things, and I think it could be a good thing.
Yeah, right. Because now the camp's turned to chaos, and Callum's turned to Bianca.
Quite fancy you, sir. You're just saying that. Am I?
Yeah. No wasting time there, then. Love Island after Bad Lads Army.
The Gunners are goalless at half-time. We've got a good old uncompromising centre-half with us here in the studio, Martin Keown. We're going to hear from another one now, Slaven Bilic, ex-West Ham, ex-Everton. He is the new Croatian national coach. Here he is, chatting to Gabriel Clark.
So what does Croatia's coach make of Croatia's champions so far?
Well, they are playing good. At the moment, we knew before that Arsenal is one of the best teams in Europe, and they have a better team than Dinamo Zagreb, but we are so happy with the result. Maybe I would like them to come a little bit more from the defense, because we are sitting deep at the moment, but they are forcing us to draw back.
Will the coach change it much for Zagreb?
I don't think so, because they are quite happy with the way they are playing, and they are absolutely happy with the result.
Thanks, Slaven.
Cheers.
They're happy with the result. If it stays goalless, you'd have crossed swords with him a few times, wouldn't you, Slaven Bilic?
Yeah, we should wish him well, actually, in his new role.
Except when they play England, perhaps.
Except when they play England, of course, yeah.
And what do you make of this as far as Arsenal are concerned in the second half now? Give us an insight into how do you think they might play this tactically, Martin, in the second half?
I think the emphasis will be on moving the ball quickly, and that's the basis of their game. And when they did that at their best, they played well, and just hope for an opening. But it's going to be an examination of their fitness in the second half, because they've come back a little bit early, and as it goes on, I think I'd be happier if we could grab a goal somewhere.
And we've talked about a few of the boys up front, but at the back as well, one or two of those newish faces, if you like. Hoyt's done okay, Giroux's done all right. Aboué got in one really good tackle as well, didn't he?
That's right. You know, these boys, they're very reliable players, and they do it week in and week out. They've been great finds for the club. Hoyt's been away for a year, come back and slotted in nicely. So, you know, we'll need to get forward as well. There are 2 jobs to do, but primarily they'll be looking to keep a clean sheet.
OK, Martin, thank you very much. Tomorrow night we go to Anfield for Liverpool's UEFA Champions League qualifier. That's live right here on ITV1 against Maccabi Haifa, and Rafa Benitez, he says it's a very important night for his team.
I think in this moment is the most important game that we need to play, because in the league you can win, you can lose, you can draw, but you will have always possibilities. But in this kind of competition, you need to win, and then it's the most important game that we have in this moment. We know that we will play against a good team. They won the league the last 3 years, and okay, I know the team, and we must respect a lot because it's a good team. We need to be sure that the Anfield is our stadium, and we need to do our best here, and if it's possible to score goals, but we know that it will be difficult.
That game live right here on ITV1, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Rafa Benitez, by the way, saying that Steven Gerrard should be the new captain of England. Let's see what the Arsenal can do in the second half over there in Zagreb. Goalless at half-time, and let's rejoin our commentary team. David Pleat and, first of all, Peter Drury.
Jim, thank you. Welcome back. The Dinamo team, as you see, arriving on the pitch now. Second out. Arsenal have been out for a minute or so. Incidentally, part of what makes Arsenal's very thorough first-half performance admirable here is that they're up against a team not just followed by a hugely partisan crowd, but they're up against a team whose own domestic season is a couple of weeks underway. Their preparedness you would expect to be greater. The champions of Croatia against Arsene Wenger's side have already played 2-1-2 at the beginning of their defence of their domestic title, and that would certainly be a factor which Josip Puig there would expect to be in his favour. This is the ground, incidentally, where England will be in a couple of months from now, October the 11th, for arguably the toughest of all their Euro 2008 qualifying matches. The Maksimir Stadium, which is right next door to Zagreb Zoo. Just sorting out the caging here of Almunia's goal. So there's a space for a ball to creep through between net and post there, which could cause some embarrassment. Would you expect the pattern of the second half, David, more or less to follow the pattern of the first?
I think so, because Zagreb want to go to Arsenal with a good chance. I think their big opportunity is here this evening. I think if they're just a little bit more forceful, they can get at Arsene Wenger's men a little bit better. I think Eto'o on the right has gone too deep, and I believe that if he uses his pace to try and attack the left side of Arsenal's defence a little bit better, they would get more opportunities. I think it is possible that they could force a victory tonight if they really go for it. I fear that they may just do the opposite of that and sit and try and play comfortable at the back, rely on the break, allow Arsenal to monopolise the ball, and we could have a stalemate. Arsenal are comfortable.
I feel we do have a stalemate at the moment because they're still stitching up the net. The referee's assistant is just about content, it seems. And somewhat belatedly, the second half is going to get underway. Vassaras last in charge of Arsenal at Valencia in March of 2003. Arsenal lost that game by a couple of John Carew goals to 1. And now Mr. Vassaras sets the second half underway here in Zagreb. On a ground where only one English club team has lost, and that was Leeds in the final of the 1967 Fairs Cup. Since then, Manchester United have won. And Newcastle have drawn, and Fulham 2 or 3 years back won here 3-0 in the UEFA Cup. That's all history. Arsenal are playing to shape their immediate future. They have a new stadium built with the Champions League in mind. They have a budget prepared with the Champions League in mind. They have to be in the Champions League. Here is Rosicki, a player who certainly fits in that company. Hoyt, Gilberto, Eboué. Aimed in at Van Persie, touched just beyond that of Ayor, and lashed away by Eto'o. Here is Modric. Touched from behind by Fabregas, who gets his free kick.
Fabregas, so important for Arsenal in midfield with Gilberto Silva. We talk about Arsenal being a young side, but You can be young and experienced, and when you look across the middle there, Kleb, Fabregas, learning fast, a great talent. Gilberto, very experienced, and Rosicki, well, he's been playing some while. Everyone remembers that wonderful performance for Sparta against Arsenal a few years ago when he was in his home country. So they're not inexperienced across the midfield, Arsenal.
Eduardo has caused a problem for both of Arsenal's centre-halves there. Juru and Toure both needing a touch to take it away from the Brazilian-born Croatian international and concede the first corner of the second half, over which is Buljat here. Header out by Van Persie. That is Modric. That is somewhere wide.
It's a difficult shot to take. Bouncing ball with his left foot.
It was he who scored the goal that clinched the title for Dinamo Zagreb in May, a title that meant a lot to them, very obviously, but the more so because the previous season had been a dreadful one for them. They'd finished 7th in their domestic league, a worst ever since the creation of the independent Croatia. And last year, they were not in European football at all. Toure. Abue. Gilberto. Next ball was seen by Sorluka. Going forward to Buljat. Eto'o. Rosicki did well to get a toe on that tackle. Eduardo, Modric, spooned over the top for Buljat, who's come from an onside position, and it's Buljat's cross. It's Agic with a free header, which he fluffed rather, precipitating that crowd reaction. It was a terrific arrival, beautifully timed run.
Well, he approached the ball without opposition, and he should have been more clinical. It was a lovely chip. He picked him out perfectly.
Didn't have to make a save. Svitanovic away by Eto'o. There is Agic. Modric. Pounced upon by Abue. And then cleared by Charlie. There's another young man who's just broken into the national squad here in Croatia since Slaven Bilic's appointment. Incidentally, he doesn't get a comfortable baptism as the national coach, Bilic. His first game is only away to the new world champions. Croatia are in Livorno next week to play Italy. Modric chasing his Eduardo! And he chose to go first time with Juru shoulder to shoulder with him.
They just caught Arsenal a little bit flat, a little bit square there. Wonderful pass by Modric, seeking out the centre forward.
Rosicki. Kicked by Eto'o. He's got his free kick, the Czech.
Not a particularly nice challenge, that one, by Eto'o. Rosicki coming in off the line, making the extra midfield player at the moment.
Abue. Rosicki. Gilberto. Fabregas. Lovely little shovel from Cesc Fabregas, and now Van Persie. And then Hoyt. Rosicki. Adebayor showing. And shielding. Using Gilberto. Abue. Seen by Agic. Modric. Agic has a lot of space to run into here, but he couldn't keep the ball from crossing the touchline. It was a surprisingly errant pass from Modric.
It was, but Ajax wasn't quick enough to seize the opportunity.
Gilberto. Rosicki. Gilberto. Fabregas. Hoyt. Van Persie. Good feet. So Luca had to have 2 or 3 goes at the tackle before finally winning the ball from Van Persie. And the Novotny hit it long.
And Rosicki's definitely pushed inside now, and it's given more space and opportunity for Justin Hoyt to get forward on the left-hand side. He's playing in a more advanced full-back role than he did in the first half, where he defended very well on the cover. Now he's looking to help out the attack when Arsenal go forward into the middle third.
One of Arsenal's best performances during last year's wonderful run were away from home. It's the first flares of the evening. Often to be seen in abundance in this part of the world.
Came here many years ago, Peter, to watch a game between Red Star Belgrade and Zagreb, and a great rivalry, as you know, in those years. And always remember there's so many flares flying around. I came all that way and the pitch was a massive smoke. I went back and someone was asking me about this player and that player. I hardly saw them.
It'll cost them a UEFA fine, though, you can be sure of that. There's a certain inevitability about it. Oh, and there's one on the pitch now. I hope this doesn't become a real problem. You know it's going to happen when you see the running track peppered with fire extinguishers an hour before kickoff. Here comes Charlie. Looking to take on Eboué. Modric. Held up by Gilberto. Concedes the throw. Buliat shows for the throw. Toure at his back. Here is Modric. Touched out by Eboué, and now Hleb can run. And Percy got pulled over by Eto'o. And, Arsenal took the free kick more quickly than Vassaras was prepared to allow. Spelling's different, of course, but it's almost as if to taunt Arsenal that there should be a player called Eto'o against them in their very first game since the Champions League final, in which Eto'o, of course, scored the equaliser. He was involved in the incident which saw Jens Lehmann sent off. By Sorluka. Rosicki. Toure. Eboué. Van Persie. Goalkeeper reacted.
A lovely turn by the Dutchman.
Eduardo.
No support.
Manic. Buliat. Modric. Charlie. Early ball in towards Eduardo, seen off by Djourou, taken back by Agic. And then Fabregas rode the tackle, and Adebayor is ahead of him, setting off on one of his long-legged runs. Faced by Svitanovic. Hleb. Gilberto.
Very patient Arsenal when they get wide, in the Arsenal manner of the last few seasons since Arsene Wenger's been in charge. They work the ball from side to side. They're very patient. They don't just throw crosses in for the sake of it.
Quick for Fabregas. Van Persie. Van Persie's cross is too close to the goalkeeper. Incidentally, if you are joining us late and missed the Arsenal team news, the top line to come out of the Arsenal 11 when it was named was that Jose Antonio Reyes wasn't in the starting side. He is on the bench for Arsenal tonight. Should he come on, that of course cup ties him for the rest of the European season. And if the persistent stories and rumours about his possibly joining Real Madrid have any truth in them, then that would clearly be a factor in that whole transfer saga. But he wasn't picked in Arsenal's starting 11. We can only surmise. No official comment from Arsenal as to why he was left out. Rosicky got his debut in place of Reyes.
Whatever the future, it's the wisest management decision to make.
Here's Hleb. Tackle from Agic. Rosicky. Hleb. Rosicky. Dabbed away for Agic. Novotny's got a long way forward. Only Eduardo is further forward than him. And he has Toure between him and the box.
And still Novotny is the only man in the box, and the nearest player, Bulliant, is 15 yards outside the box just now, running towards the corner. He's probably going to take the corner. But still lacking that bravery, that determination to take that chance to get bodies forward and to try and put Arsenal a goal behind. It would be such a vital goal for them if they could get in front.
Bulliat's corner. Munia got a knuckle on it. That was enough. Rosicky. Adebayor covers so much ground with every pace he takes. But not sufficient to get there before Agic. It's well worked out by Novotny. And here's Svitanovic.
Told Novotny is the most expensive player that they've ever had. Taken him from Germany, there he is. $1 million a season. But of course they haven't got the money that we've got in our country. There's no hospitality boxes here, and it's £6 a head to get in. For most of the people. Some have to pay a little bit more, but not that much.
Gilberto. Percy, away by Novotny. Mamic. Seemed to go over very easily under the challenge of Aboué. And a yellow card has been shown to Alexander Hleb. Neither of them made much contact, and Mamic was very willing to hit the ground.
Well, he was playing for it, knew exactly what he was doing. He'll probably have a wry smile tomorrow when they show the replay of this game to his colleagues.
Every seat sold within 3 hours of tickets going on sale for this game, and it's turned into a very watchable contest, a contest still on the edge, with a second leg to come in North London at Arsenal's new stadium, their very first European fixture at the Emirates Stadium, a fortnight tomorrow. Of course, this is what that frantic race for fourth place was all in aid of at the end of last season. Lose this tie and that Thierry Henry hat-trick against Wigan on the final day will turn into a little more than an emotional tear-stained souvenir of Highbury. Tottenham's sickly visit to West Ham the same day wouldn't carry quite the same gut-wrenching significance. I imagine there may be one or two Spurs fans watching this evening, not necessarily wishing their North London brethren well. And by Hoyt and out by Novotny.
Hoyt offside when he received that ball back from Adebayor. Rather a cheap way of losing the attack. There is the manager, Josip Kusek.
It was Arsenal were behind Spurs for a large chunk of last season before finally finishing a couple of points ahead of them, consigning them to the UEFA Cup. Here is Rosicki, dealt with by Soluka. And should Arsenal lose this tie, he certainly hopes they don't, they would of course join Spurs in the UEFA Cup. That, from their point of view, is clearly a worst case scenario that they would prefer not to consider. Aboué caught Saleh on it. Here is Kleb running at Agic. Van Persie. Sent forced wide by Svitanovic. Aboué, Gilberto, Rosicki, his sort of range if he fancies it.
I thought he just had an opportunity, Peter, and rather passed the buck. I thought he had a shooting opportunity just previously.
All caught on it by Modric, who wriggled out of a corner quite brilliantly there, but Eduardo couldn't take it on. Giroud for Rosicki. Gilberto. Claire, who I think has had a really energetic, purposeful game for Arsenal in midfield. Van Persie. Van Persie's touch, and here is Fabregas! Absolutely perfect! And the blue wall of sound is silenced. Cesc Fabregas with a key away European goal for Arsenal, and their following few.
Yes, they had plenty of defenders back, but they didn't pick up Fabregas as he made his little run on the other side of the defender, and his shot was perfect. I don't think Torina could have done anything about that. It was poor marking. It was beautifully taken.
Cesc Fabregas playing his 100th game for the Arsenal first team. He scored a critical goal during last year's run against Juventus. And here is a massive goal to get Arsenal rolling in Europe again for another year.
I think it was Mamic, the captain, who was sweeping there and allowed the Fabregas to follow this pass into the box and get into that shooting position.
An away goal. Forward by Kleb. Chased by Van Persie, who's got goal side here and doubled Arsenal's lead! This youthful colours side have burst through just past the hour in Zagreb.
It was a great run off the shoulder by Van Persie, but it was also a fabulous ball. I think it was Alexander Kleb who played that ball. He spotted Van Persie's run. There you see it. He's got too much pace once he gets goal side, and it's on his good side, his left side, and hits the ball across the goalkeeper. I think the defenders thought the goalkeeper might have done better. Superb pass by Kleb. Van Persie showing the inclination to run off the ball, to run forward. Torina could have done better, should have done better. Arsenal won't worry about that.
60 sensational seconds for Arsenal. And the Emirates Stadium can begin to prepare itself, you would think, now for Champions League football. Bulyat with the ball in. 2 away goals for Arsenal, with 25 minutes to play here and an hour and a half to play at home. To be precise, 1 minute and 18 seconds between the strikes of Cesc Fabregas and Robin van Persie, who on the opening day of European football for Arsenal last season against Thun was sent off. This time round he scores a goal of some considerable significance, you would think. Soluka, Modric, Bulyat. Modric, Bulyat. It's terrific movement from Luka Modric, driven in towards Eduardo. But neither he nor any of the retreating Arsenal defenders got a touch.
And once again, when we see that again, you'll note there's only one blue-shirted player in the box when Modric got away down the right. I thought Hoyt could have closed better, should have closed quicker. Here we go, he's coming into an unchallenged area, but you see all those Arsenal defenders. Where are the blue shirt players? They're still on the edge of the box. They haven't got that desire to go in and try and force a goal. I think he should dispense with his 3 centre-backs. I don't think they're needed now. He's got to throw people forward if he wants to go to Arsenal, have any chance at all.
Clem. Abue. Clem. Gilberto. Fabregas. Van Persie. Fabregas, and now ball retention becomes an even more critical part of Arsenal's game plan. Giving it away, as Fabregas did momentarily then, isn't the smart thing to do. Clem. A wonderful pass from him for Van Persie, and now for Abue, and in for Adebayor, whose first touch was thick.
He tried to do something very clever there. He used to try to clip it round the defender and get the shot in quickly. There's those Arsenal supporters back in their blue shirts. They've lost their cherry shirts, probably put them on eBay or somewhere. And
red currant, David, if you
red
don't mind.
currant, that's right. We fell into that trap so many times. Not cherry, red currant. Well, they're now red and white. Garibaldi red, is it called?
Call it what you like. Arsenal red.
Arsenal red. Okay.
Svitanovic. Mamic. Touch from Toure, might have played Eduardo onside there. It doesn't matter because Almunia came.
And still Eduardo plays a lone role. Bulliat, the nearest man, never in tandem like Adebayor and Van Persie have played. The good sign for Arsenal is that Arsene Wenger is comfortable enough to retain the same group on the field, not to rush to make changes. He'll let them use this now as a very good practice for them as they warm up towards the important season ahead.
Here's Hoyt. Cesc Fabregas, that's a decent try, and an awkward parry for Torina. Clearance has reached Hleb. Already found Modric. Modric has hit it early for Eduardo, who's onside here and goal side here. Eduardo, oh, what a tackle that is from Giroud.
Yeah, superb tackle by the Swiss defender. Eduardo shows his pace. Once again, it's Modric searching the pace of Eduardo out. He needs more support up there. He's shown little things, Eduardo. Certainly the determination and drive to run forward, to race forward. And Modric is the provider. Look at the speed there of the Arsenal defender. That will please Wenger. He has a centre-back problem, there's no question about that going into the season. But he'll be very pleased with the performance tonight of Toure and Duro.
The presence again will have Pascal Seagon fit again. Seagon, the Frenchman who hasn't played in the first team since January, has taken a part in the pre-season games and is available. Philippe Senderos isn't available for a little while because of that shoulder injury he incurred at the World Cup. What hope they had in their hearts coming to the stadium tonight with need reigniting a goal for Dinamo before the end of the evening here. Just more than 20 minutes to play in Zagreb, and Arsenal up to this point have produced an expert away performance in Europe. Bulliat with the free kick. Almunia came and did just about enough. This is Mamic, eased away by Hleb, who was lent upon.
It was a stupid free kick to give away by Bulliat. The referee did well there, although Zagreb had a man down in the box as the ball came in. He allowed play to go on because obviously it was to Zagreb's advantage.
It's worth re-emphasising, perhaps, as we see Almunia clashing here with Sorluka. Just what an achievement it would be. Well, the goalkeeper took the ball with his punch and followed through and caught Sorluka with a sharpish uppercut. That might have hurt. What an achievement this would be by Arsenal if they do cling on to a 2-goal lead, given the absence of Henry and Ljungberg and Clichy and the greater list that I went through in the first half, and with the various agendas flying around the club regarding Ashley Cole and tonight, Reyes, with this very young side, in a relatively hostile atmosphere, a long way from home. The team possibly a little undercooked with the games coming up so early in the season. And they've really risen to the challenge. Fabregas, Van Persie, Adebayor, why?
He's continued to lead the line well, Adebayor, well appreciated by those Arsenal supporters. There's Eto'o using his pace to go forward. He's been a big disappointment to me. He's played far too deep.
Wanting to stay with him. Eto'o crashed into Gilberto. And the free kick has been given to Dinamo Zagreb. Eto'o, who's another Brazilian anxious to qualify for Croatia. He's going through his qualification period at the moment. Doesn't seem rather ready to go over there.
I suppose there's a danger, Peter, if they keep importing Brazilians and give them the qualification period, the Croatian national team could be full of expatriate Brazilians. Strange, strange.
Armenia are organising with the Arsenal defence a man light because Justin Hoyt was hobbled off the pitch for treatment by Gary Lewin, out of your picture. Buliat's pullback, Modric is hit, and Almunia's very solid save, possibly having seen it late through quite a number of players between keeper and ball.
Great credit, very intelligent kick by Buliat. Looked to play it in, squared it across, Modric comes onto it and makes Almunia make a very good save.
Further reminder, by the way, that Liverpool start their European campaign tomorrow at Anfield against Maccabi Haifa, and it is live here on ITV1. Our programme, as it did tonight, starts at 8 o'clock. Manchester United, Chelsea already into the group stage, the draw for which is on Friday the 25th of August. This is Mamic. Buliat.
Talking about emigrating Brazilian reminds me, of course, that Manchester United, of course, are supposed to be very interested in the Brazilian come Spanish player, Senna.
Mamic and Agic. Champions League this season, by the way, culminates in Athens on May the 23rd, the final a week later than in the spring just gone, when the timetable was affected by pre-World Cup factors. Opening round of group games, second week in September. 16 teams already assured of a place. Chelsea and United, Celtic from Scotland, Barcelona as holders, Real Madrid also from Spain, Inter and now Roma, after all the shenanigans in Italy. Bayern Munich and Werder Bremen, Bordeaux and Lille, Anderlecht, PSV, Olympiacos, and from Portugal, Sporting and Porto. Best of luck to Liverpool tomorrow. Here is Rosicki, and indeed to Heart of Midlothian, who play AEK Athens tomorrow, with the hope of being Scotland's second representatives.
There's Rosicki reminding us of his shooting power. Got a little bit underneath that one, and I thought Ajip at the other end was a little bit unlucky with that left-footed drive. It could have ripped into the corner of Almunia's goal to give them a fighting chance. Still no sign of any substitutions.
Which for those on Reyes' watch is particularly significant. I'm sure that will be a line of questioning pursued after the game with Arsene Wenger and the media corps here. The ongoing stories linking him with Real Madrid and linking Arsenal with, amongst others, Frank Ribéry, who's shown up so well in the World Cup.
I think Wenger is merely reminding Reyes that he's still the employer, and Reyes is very much the employee. Unless three parties agree a transfer, that's the buying club, the selling club, and then the player himself, he comes into it after the two clubs have agreed, not the other way round. And there's consistent reports when he ever goes to Spain in the Spanish papers, but it's the two clubs that have to make the deal.
Rosicki. Eboué. Gilberto. Fed. Arsenal less than a quarter of an hour away here from an absolutely blinding result away from home in Europe in the second week in August. A depleted side. Gilberto.
Arsenal very relaxed, passing at their pleasure. Zagreb getting behind the ball, but not really affecting the ball too much.
On that occasion, giving it away to Alexander Hleb. Certainly my list of Arsenal players who were there at the end of last season and aren't now, of course, I omitted the name Dennis Bergkamp, who has been a rather significant employee of the club for a rather long time, and has been at the centre of a fair degree of sentimental stuff that's been going around Arsenal over the last 3-4 months, saying goodbye to a ground and saying goodbye to one of the club legends. The sentiment has been put to bed tonight. It's been hard business, and it's been business done extraordinarily well. Toure. Hleb. Fabregas. Smashing run. Oh, terrific goal. What a very, very good goal from Cesc Fabregas. And Arsenal are all but in the group stage of the Champions League.
A goal of the highest individual quality. Knew exactly what he wanted to do when he picked the ball up, saw the opportunity, lovely close control, a little dummy and an early shot, beats the goalkeeper, all ends up stuffing completely knocked out of Zagreb, and for the first time these partisan supporters begin to depart from their seats. They've been brave, they've hung in there, they haven't showed enough ambition, and Arsenal have been very ruthless in this second period. Was a real great goal, going to his right and reversing the ball across the goalkeeper's body. Tremendous goal by Fabregas.
Lest we forget, is still only 19 years old, played 4 games at the World Cup, started 2 of them, and has become one of their very favourite players. My only concern, and it's a pedantic one, about the size of Arsenal's victory here, which is being written up by those in the travelling press corps there, is that the size of it may give an indication, a false indication, that it was a tie they ought to have won comfortably. That was never the case. This was always a really difficult assignment, and to be 3-0 up away from home here is a really very, very fine achievement. Now, that was Hoyt going in at the back of Eto'o, and seeing a yellow card.
It makes you wonder if Eto'o would have got his finger out and his manager would have pushed him more forward, what damage or danger he may have caused to Arsenal. Showed in the first few minutes that he got pace and he could get near to the byline, and then he retreated, he went deeper and almost played as a right wing back.
More minutes for Arsenal to try and avoid the concession of a goal. Eduardo and Bulia, as is often the case, over a Dinamo Zagreb free kick. Eduardo, really a concern for Almunia. Beautifully to get the ball out of his feet and then to deliver that scything strike across the face of the goalkeeper and into the side netting. There wasn't a lot for Fabregas to aim at with the shot. There wasn't a lot of space out of which for him to work.
First sign of substitutes, Flamini and Ali there, about to come on and have a few minutes to enjoy this comfortable win.
So Flamini, of course, starred for so much of the last European season as the reluctant left full-back. And it may be that he replaces Justin Hoyt in that position now, we'll see.
Thomas Rosicki.
Well, Flamini would be a natural replacement for him as well. Perhaps on the left side of midfield. That's been a thoroughly satisfactory debut for the Czech in Arsenal colours.
Yes, he's played very similar to to Pires, who played in that position last year, coming in from the left, joining in with his midfield players.
And Ali Adier is coming on for Emmanuel Adebayor, who, though he didn't score tonight, also had a very pleasing evening here in Croatia. Ali Adier, who spent last season on loan at various clubs, Celtic, West Ham, Wolves. He might have a cautionary word to his colleagues in the Arsenal dressing room. He was involved in an extraordinary tie at the start of the last European campaign with Celtic in qualifying, about which more in just a second. Here is Eduardo, though, for Zagreb. Got away from Eboué. Header out by Juru. Fabregas lashed at it. And then Flamini gave it a little bit more. No, Ali Adier played when Celtic lost their first leg in Bratislava last season 5-0, and then was involved as a substitute at the end of the second leg when at Celtic Park Celtic won 4-0, very nearly overturned a 5-goal deficit. So nothing is to be taken for granted after a hefty first leg win. Arsenal's degree of comfort here is nonetheless considerable. Degree of happiness, I would think, was fairly considerable as well. Ball by Sorluka. Modric seen out of harm's way by Hoyt. And here's it Couget, leaning against the post and wondering. It's hard for him to know where to go from here. He needs a couple of goals pretty quickly. To that end, Buljat with the corner. Flicked out to Svitanovic. Let it run. One of those 8 left full-backs that Arsenal fielded last season. Cole and Clichy, Senderos, Siegel, Larson, Lauren, Gilbert, they all had a go in that position. And Flamini himself. Rather amusing that at the start of a new season they found another one to play there in Justin Hoyt. Eto'o. Modric. Buljat. Well, to dig out across from there. Juru's header away, Van Persie. Kleb. Looking to get beyond Charlie, but fouling the left full-back, who's gone down with a little bit of cramp.
Tremendously strong player, Kleb, very powerful runner with the ball. I think he's done well tonight. Often last season he was substituted after about 70 or 75 minutes. I think Arsene Wenger was just bringing him into the game gradually. I think this year's a very important year for Kleb. He can certainly possibly replace Ljungberg. Pires obviously has to be replaced from wide positions. Wenger's very happy with the wide players that he has. Of course, we haven't mentioned young Walcott tonight, of course, who everyone is looking to see what's going to happen to him. Is he going to play reserve football this season? Is he going to be loaned? Is he going to get a first team opportunity?
Played a game of club football in the first team since Queen's Park Rangers against Southampton on the 14th of January.
I saw that game, Peter. It His last game, he won them a penalty by some clever play, which was missed, the penalty, incidentally.
Since then he's played for England B once and he's played for England once. Gilberto. But he, like the other players who are involved in the World Cup, is given what Arsene Wenger considers a proper period of time off and then re-preparation, even though, of course, he didn't kick a ball in anger. He became very well acquainted with several benches and with a very nice hotel in Baden-Baden. Here's Gilberto.
Gilberto's pulled a few strings tonight, hasn't he, in that midfield? He's just sat there, he chugs away, always available, always looking for the ball. When anyone's in problem, they can always pass it back to Gilberto. Always is dropping off, available, spreading it.
Toure. And Boué. 3 minutes to play. Arsenal with a 3-goal lead. A more than satisfactory evening in Zagreb. For the club that was about a quarter of an hour away from being the champions of Europe in May, 83 nights ago. A man shy, they had a goal lead over Barcelona, and then Henrik Larsson came on and changed the game and left them with regrets that they seek to put right now. Ali Adier, or at least over the course of the next 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Gilberto. Hoyt. Flamini. Gilberto. Flamini.
Very much possession stuff now. Zagreb still drop back. They're still looking to contain them on the edge of the box. You need a psychologist or two to convince them they can score 4 at the Emirates Stadium. Certainly going to have to be more ambitious tonight than tonight. I have to say the support of the home crowd has really been fantastic. It hasn't wavered. 3-0 down.
Feb. In for Flamini! It's a very good save, which at least enables the tie to retain some sort of a pulse going into the second leg. Flamini could have killed it.
Oh, what a chance.
Luka. It was a very good spreading of his frame by the Zagreb goalkeeper, getting into the last minute of the 90. And Arsenal can set this away performance in Europe, though somewhat less glamorous, alongside what they did in the Bernabeu last year and what they did in Turin against Juventus. Greater, higher caliber opponents, but this in its own way was a horrid task so early in the season. Coped with it fantastically well, particularly Fabregas here, who's scored 2, the second of which deserved to set the seal on a performance of such authority. Here is Hleb, heading into 3 minutes of stoppage time, exchanging with Ali Adier. Hleb, Ali Adier.
I've been very surprised that Kusei, the coach, hasn't changed his tactics somewhat in this second half. He's still been cautious, far too cautious, in my view. His team has lacked self-belief as Arsenal got in front. I mean, Arsenal have done well, they've been efficient, they've passed the ball well. 2-goal salvo, of course, really knocked Zagreb back, and then Fabregas wading with that fantastic goal. But all in all, Wenger will be very happy. Toure and Duru have showed pace to counter Eduardo. And I think for Zagreb, Modric has been excellent throughout. But once again, even though he was passed the ball excellently and worked very hard, he has to have teammates who are working at the same level.
Gleb. Blue on the shirt for Robin van Persie, and Arsenal have a free kick in front of their contented management team. Before which Dinamo are going to make changes here. Charlie has gone off, and so has Buliat. And coming on Vukojevic as Buliat's disappearance.
What a strange time to make two changes. 3-0 down. I wonder what material effect these two guys are going to have. None, I'm sure.
Van Persie. The strike had no material effect either. He has his goal for the evening against a team in Dinamo Zagreb, a club in Dinamo Zagreb that began the night with confidence and some swagger, but had it knocked out of them. A club that has produced some great players. This is the club of Mark Viduka, of Robert Prosinecki, of the coach himself for a short period. Boban was here, Strupa, Stanic, Simic, Davor Suker, who of course went on to Seville and then Real Madrid and then Arsenal. Carlos, the Brazilian left-back, was the other player to come on in the double change. Good tackle by Flamini. It's the last tackle of the game. Simply a very, very good night for Arsenal. Terrific performance from a young side, difficult place to come. Blank at half-time, second half, just splendid. Fabregas with a couple of fine goals, the second really special. Van Persie between those. It really is beyond what one could have expected of Arsenal at the start of the evening, and they are very close now to the group stages of the Champions League. No doubt to Arsene Wenger's immense satisfaction. With the second leg to come, Arsenal carry a 3-goal lead back to North London. Martin Keown with Jim Rosenthal in just a moment. It is Zagreb 0, Arsenal 3.
The goss, the picks, the sport. Plus, every day this week, pick up your free language CD with your great daily start. With this offer, what more could you want?
Welcome to planet Earth. Please make yourself at home. Please make yourself at home.
Come to your senses with Airwaves sugar-free gum.
New steak and onion flavour. Another little slice of happiness from Walker's.
Oh, I don't like this.
You'll be fine. With British Gas, you could fix your energy prices at the new September rates. So no more rises for over 2 years. And even better, at the end of next year, they're guaranteed to
Sign up and we can guarantee no more rises. And your rates will fall at the end of next year. No cancellation charges, no tie-ins.
Oh, I feel much better. Oh. You all right?
Fix and fall. Only from British Gas.
to you.